Inside your DNA, there may be a trace of another human species. Not metaphorically, literally. Because around 50,000 years ago, modern humans met Neanderthals, and something unexpected happened. They didn't just fight, they had sex. Today, billions of people carry Neanderthal DNA because of it. But here's the disturbing question scientists began asking. If humans and Neanderthals were close enough to have children together, were they also close enough to spread diseases between species? And if that happened, did those diseases help wipe Neanderthals off the planet? The answer might be hidden in our immune system, and the story is stranger than you think. But before we talk about disease, you need to understand something important. For most of human history, we weren't alone. 40,000 years ago, the Earth looked very different. Europe and Western Asia were dominated by another human species, Neanderthals. They were powerful, stocky, incredibly strong. Their bodies were built for survival in freezing climates. Meanwhile, our species, Homo sapiens, had evolved in Africa. For hundreds of thousands of years, the two species lived completely separate lives, different continents, different environments, different evolutionary paths. But eventually, those paths collided. Around 60 to 70,000 years ago, humans began migrating out of Africa. As they moved north into Eurasia, they encountered something unexpected. Other humans, not exactly like them, but similar enough. These were Neanderthals.
For decades, scientists imagined this encounter as violent competition. But then, genetics changed everything. In 2010, scientists sequenced the Neanderthal genome, and what they found shocked the scientific world. Modern humans outside Africa contain Neanderthal DNA, about 1 to 2%, which means one thing. Our ancestors didn't just meet Neanderthals, they interbred with them. Those encounters produced children. Those children had descendants, and today, millions of people carry that legacy. But something else may have traveled between these species, something invisible. Whenever two populations mix closely, they don't just exchange genes, they exchange microbes, viruses, bacteria, parasites, and sometimes that exchange can be deadly. History gives us many examples. When Europeans arrived in the Americas, smallpox devastated native populations. Not because those diseases were new to humans, but because they were new to those populations. Now imagine something even more extreme. Two species separated for hundreds of thousands of years, suddenly sharing the same environment, the same food, and sometimes the same partners. Sex is one of the most efficient ways for pathogens to spread. Modern sexually transmitted infections include herpes, HPV, gonorrhea, chlamydia. But sexual contact can also transmit many other microbes. Now think about the situation 50,000 years ago. Two human species interacting, possibly forming relationships, possibly raising mixed children. Those interactions create a direct biological bridge between bodies, between immune systems, between entire microbial ecosystems. And that's when scientists started asking a fascinating question.
Did pathogens cross between humans and Neanderthals? To answer that question, scientists looked at something very specific: the Neanderthal DNA that survived in modern humans. And they found something strange. A large portion of those genes are connected to immune defense. That's not random. Our immune system is constantly evolving in response to pathogens. So, if humans inherited immune genes from Neanderthals, there's a good chance those genes helped us fight local diseases. Think about it. Humans leaving Africa entered environments filled with unfamiliar microbes. Neanderthals had already adapted to those microbes for hundreds of thousands of years. By interbreeding with them, humans may have gained genetic shortcuts to survival. In other words, Neanderthal DNA might have helped us fight ancient infections.
But there's another side to this story. Neanderthals had one major weakness. Their population size was small, very small. Scientists estimate there may have been only tens of thousands of Neanderthals alive at their peak. Small populations mean low genetic diversity, and low diversity makes species vulnerable to disease. Now imagine modern humans arriving from Africa carrying unfamiliar pathogens, viruses, parasites, bacteria, diseases Neanderthals had never encountered before. That situation could have been catastrophic. Around 40,000 years ago, Neanderthals disappeared. No more fossils, no more tools. They were gone. Why? Scientists have proposed many explanations: climate change, competition with humans, lower birth rates. But disease may have played a role. And if pathogens spread through close contact, interbreeding could have accelerated that transmission. Cross-species infections happen constantly in nature. Many human diseases actually started in other animals. HIV came from primates. Influenza moves between birds, pigs, and humans. Coronaviruses jump between species. When two species interact closely, pathogens get opportunities to evolve, and sometimes they adapt to a new host.
Human-Neanderthal contact may have created exactly that kind of evolutionary opportunity. Some researchers believe certain viruses in humans today may trace their origins back to ancient cross-species transmissions. One example scientists study closely is the herpes virus family. These viruses evolve slowly and often track host evolution across millions of years. Some strains may have jumped between human species during prehistoric encounters. Although the details are still being studied, the possibility reveals something incredible. Ancient relationships between species may still echo in the viruses inside us today. Even though Neanderthals disappeared, they were not erased. Their DNA still exists, and it still affects our biology. Neanderthal genes influence things like skin adaptation, hair traits, metabolism, immune responses. Some of these genes even affect how our bodies respond to modern diseases. But there's a twist. Some Neanderthal immune genes also increase the risk of autoimmune disorders today. Traits that once helped fight ancient infections may now cause problems in modern environments. Evolution never stops. Somewhere in prehistoric Eurasia, a human met a Neanderthal. Maybe they were curious. Maybe they formed a relationship. Maybe it was brief, but that encounter changed history. From that moment came children. From those children came generations. And along with genes, there may have been something else traveling between species. Invisible passengers, ancient pathogens, microscopic travelers that shaped the evolution of two human species. Today, when scientists examine our DNA, they find traces of Neanderthals still living inside us. A reminder that the story of humanity isn't simple. It's a story of encounters, of mixing, of shared survival, and possibly shared diseases. Because the most intimate moments in human history may have also been the most evolutionarily powerful. If you want more stories about ancient humans, evolutionary mysteries, and the secrets hidden in our DNA, subscribe to the channel. Because the deeper we look into human history, the more we discover that our past is far stranger than we ever imagined.